Hi, I'm Dana, and I kind of feel like I should be presenting this video like it's a game show, you know, like it's a very like, is it autism? Or is it just that I'm weird? But I'm not a game show type of person, as you can tell, because that was probably terrible. But yeah, that's today's video. Because I think like every human on the planet will have had a moment when someone says something or does something and you realise, oh, this thing I've been doing is actually really weird. I don't think everyone does do that thing. And I think if you're autistic, it's probably something that we have a bit more than most. So I wanted to make a whole little video about the weird things I do. And, you know, is it autism? Is it just that I'm a freak? I don't know. You can tell me. But I think most of it is stuff that, like, someone else out there does it too. And this video will probably make them feel better. And that's where we need to start with what inspired this video, because, right, my laptop's down here, I'm not just being rude. So 4 months ago, I saw this post on Reddit that I'll put it up on screen, but I'll read it out to you now as well. It's from this person that says, I'll be 27 in less than a year, and I still have my original imaginary friend that I thought of in kindergarten. I remember when they first came to me in my mind, I've thought up an entire backstory and family and friends and life for these people. Often I will imagine they're doing trivial things with me, just hanging out. It's mainly one friend, but there are others too. I don't know if this makes me sound crazy, it's not in a delusional way, just wondering if anyone can relate, if it can be attributed in autism or some way, or if it's just random. I find it brings me comfort and guaranteed stability, especially when I have felt isolated or hopeless. Makes me feel connected to people again in a safe, controlled manner. And I absolutely shit myself upon reading this, because one of my greatest shames for years is that I absolutely do have imaginary friends still. I'm 25 years old, and I said it really fast to try and get it over with, because it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. However, as much as I'm like, oh, it's so embarrassing, I don't want to say it, I'm not the only one. I'm not the fucking only one. And not only that, but as you can see from this screen recording that I'll put in, there's actually quite a lot of people that are autistic and still have imaginary friends into adulthood. It's not that uncommon, I don't think, having Googled it and gone by some Reddit posts. But I want to talk about it a bit, because like I say, this has been one of my biggest secret shame things. But also, I have these imaginary friends in my day-to-day life, essentially. We can scroll down and I'll read you my comment that was on this 4 months ago. I'm actually really glad to see this post because I have a very similar thing going, and I also thought it made me sound crazy. I don't remember when I thought them up, and I don't have the backstories for them, but I'm 24 and I have 2 imaginary friends that are just sort of background, I guess. I also just imagine them hanging out, tell them funny things I think of when I'm alone and the like. Maybe it's a bit weird, but I also find it really comforting, and they only pop into mind when I'm alone, so it's not an issue or delusion or anything. When I had my autism assessment, my mum mentioned to the assessor that I had imaginary friends until I was 16 when I last lived at home, and she caught them talking to me. No, she caught me talking to them. God, it would be horrifying if my mum caught my imaginary friends talking to me. Shit. She caught me talking to them, and he said that it's part of me being autistic. I didn't mention I still have them though, they're a very private comfort for me. As you can tell, because I'm only just talking about it now, it's taken a while. But just the relief I felt upon knowing that someone else was experiencing this. You know, and that's why I make these videos, just oversharing essentially, because I know that there's going to be someone out there that feels that same, oh, thank God for that relief that I did, and that I consistently do when watching content similar to this. But yeah, so I have 2 little imaginary friends. One of them's a woman, one of them's just sort of, I don't know. I don't want to call them non-binary because they just, I mean, I guess they are, because they just don't have a gender in my mind. It's just, because like I say, they are very much in my mind. It's not an imaginary friend in that I'm like, oh, don't sit there, Tim's sitting there. They don't even have names to me. They're just these sort of internal monologue voices that are extrally there, that I can tell my little funny thoughts to. In thought form, you know? God, it's probably some sort of compartmentalisation because I don't really have any friends or people to talk to, so I feel better to have someone to feel like I've spoken to. It's probably a whole thing that I should talk to a therapist about, frankly. It's probably that for a lot of us, but I think that it will probably be quite a shared experience for a lot of autistic people, because a lot of us feel very isolated, we feel very alone. And I don't think it's all that weird that we would then create little people to talk to. And there's also quite a few other posts that are talking about people that are imagining fictional characters, which is also totally something that I do. And it's, again, I don't imagine them like talking to me in my living room. It's very much sort of like, it's an internal thing. I'm not imagining them in the real world. It's a very internal imagining of getting to converse in a safe way, getting to have conversations and being able to say things without having anxiety of the reaction. It's, you know, it's a controlled, safe way to have a conversation, to feel like I've been able to speak to someone, to feel like I've had some sort of communication. And it's actually kind of really sad now that I'm getting into it like that. But, you know, for a lot of us, it's very much the fictional characters that we are able to relate to and that we find safety and comfort in, you know? Like, Alex Drake is never going to be mean to me, the Doctor's never going to be mean to me, but people in real life have been. So I think it entirely makes sense that a lot of autistic people would have imaginary friends. But I also, you know, when you Google this, a lot of studies are like, oh yeah, autistic children do not have imagination. They don't imagine things, which we know is bullshit. But obviously there are statistics that there's a lower number of autistic kids that have imaginary friends versus autistic kids. So it does sort of make me wonder if it's an autism thing or just some sort of coping mechanism to deal with feeling isolated and like you don't belong. Is it autism or am I just weird? But sort of related to that, because people talked about this in those Reddit posts as well, which is everything's got a name or a personality. Everything, all of it, everything around me. If it doesn't have a name, it has a personality. And I don't mean I name things. I'm not saying like anyone can look around and go, oh, that chest of drawers is called John. I'm saying just there's some things that I look at and I know what its name is. You know, like everything in my house has a different personality. Like I've bought like this weird cupboard thing that you see in the back of all my videos. I bought that for a £5 in a charity shop just because it's got a nice personality. I think it's a really ugly thing, but it's got a good personality. So I bought it. And again, it sounds really crazy. It sounds a bit mental, but I don't know, just some things have got a good vibe, some things haven't. Like, it's as simple as that. And I'm not talking like, you know, psychic or something. I'm not like, yes, I like mentally connected with the vibes of this piece. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying just like even with brand new stuff, like if you take me into an IKEA, that spoon's nice, but that spoon isn't, you know? Like, just some things have a personality. And it's not as related to how they look as I think people would like to. I mean, I'm acting like this is a common issue. I think that most people, if I'm explaining this to them, will be like, well, yeah, if something looks like it's got a sad face, you think it's grumpy. If something looks like it's happy, you think it's nice. But it's, you know, it's not about how it looks, because I think that's ugly as shit. There's a personality to things. You know, and you could show me like 4 of the exact same chair and they will have different personalities, different names, different whatever. It doesn't matter if they look the same. They're different. That one I can back up because we had 5 dining chairs when I was a kid because there were 5 of us. And my brothers were constantly moving them around to be like, you won't know which one's yours now. And I'd sort of look around a bit, that one's mine. And they'd be like, how do you know? And because she's nice. Because she's nice. I also gender things. Everything's got, like, not everything has a gender, in that some things I'm like, oh, that's genderless. It's like completely just not gendered. But it's not that, like, you know, it's, I don't know how to explain this. Some things are male, some things are female, and I guess some things are non-binary. It feels rude to use the term non-binary about an object, but yeah, I'm leaving that one there. Is it autism or am I just weird? Caffeine doesn't do anything. Like, I know people that, like, they'll have, like, 3 coffees and they've got the shakes. And I can just drink coffee all day, literally. I've done this as, like, my own little experiment. I can have, like, up to, like, 10 cups of coffee, probably. Like, I'm talking, like, the regularity that I drink tea with. So it's literally, like, on the hour, every hour, near enough. I can drink coffee like that and feel nothing. I can have like 3 Monsters, another little experiment I did. I can have 3 Monsters and just not feel anything. Caffeine just, it doesn't affect me. It just doesn't, you know? And I'm not just talking like I don't get shaky. I'm talking like I can still go to bed at my normal bedtime after that. Like, I could drink a Monster before bed if I liked the flavour of it, and I'd still be fine to go to sleep. I can drink coffee before bed and I'm fine. It really, like, I don't know, it doesn't do anything. I didn't really realise it was supposed to until I got into my teen years and people were like, I can't function with my coffee. And I'd watch them perk up and I'd be like, what the fuck? Don't do that for me. No. Is it autism or am I just weird? Now, I think this one probably is autism because it's probably partially like face blindness kind of thing. But I can't tell male actors apart. I can't do it. If they're women, I know the exact, like, I can tell you who's who. I know, you know, provided I know who the actress is, you know, I'm not going to sit down to watch a movie and be like, is that Cate Blanchett or Jessica Chastain? I know who she is. But if I sit down to watch a movie with men in it, I quite often have to ask for clarification because I don't know which one it is. And I'd say there's like groups, I almost have like groups of actor, I'm like, it's one of them. It's definitely one of them. Is it Ben Affleck, Adam Sandler or Ben Stiller? I don't know, but it's one of them. Is it Matt Damon or Brad Pitt? I don't know, but it's one of them. It's either Matt Damon or Brad Pitt. But I couldn't tell you which one. You know, and it's not all male actors, obviously. I'm not going to, like, look at Chris Pratt and be like, oh, Danny DeVito over here. But, like, there's a lot of them that fit into these little categories. Like, Bill Pullman versus Bill... The man that was in Ghostbusters versus the man that was in Torchwood. I don't know which one of them's which, and I thought they were the same man for the longest time. I was like, oh, do you remember when the guy out of Torchwood got, like, killed in Zombieland? And Rich was like, the guy out of Torchwood isn't in Zombieland. And I was like, yeah, he is, he's that guy. And he's really not. And when we watched This Is England, I spent the whole thing being like, it's so weird that Superhands from Peep Show is such a good actor in this. And eventually Rich was like, who the fuck do you think is Superhands in this? And I was like, Woody. That's Superhands. That's the man that plays Superhands. He plays Woody in this. He doesn't. He really doesn't. But, like, unless you have a picture of the both of them in front of me, I don't know. I really don't know. Is it autism or am I just weird? Now, this might just be a normal weird thing, but I cannot have any part of my body hanging off the edge of the bed. It's not that it's uncomfortable. It's that I'm going to get eaten by something. Like, something's going to drag me off the end of the bed or under the bed or someone's going to grab me. I don't know how people do it. Also, the people that sit on the edge of the bed with their feet just on the floor. Oh, no. Why are you doing that? You're going to get murdered by The Grudge. I can't do it. Like, I know full well that I have stuffed as much shit under my bed as could possibly ever fit there. There is no chance of anything being under my bed because it ain't fitting. Like, there's not even a spider under there because it would not fit. And yet, if I have that much of my hand hanging over the bed, I'm like, oh, better get that back before I can't get it back. It really fucking makes my heart race. It really scares me. And logically, I know that it's pointless. There's no need. There's nothing under there. But I'm scared. Is it autism or am I weird? And finally, because I don't want this video to be too long, pressing your eyeballs when you're sad or upset or like not having a good time in general. I thought everyone did this. And then when I was really upset at one point in work, I was like doing it because when you do this, okay, you like really press into your eyes for a bit and then boom, you get these like little shapes and squiggles and pictures and like little squares that are bopping around like some sort of like 80s disco thing with like a little like Windows Movie Maker fucking visualization music thing in the middle. You get an image. It looks nice when you do that to your eyes. God. And especially when I was a kid, I used to do it all the time because it was just entertaining. I just liked watching it. I liked watching the little images that are created by my eyelids. But yeah, then I had a point in work where someone was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing the eyelidy thing. It helps me like stop being stressed. And they were like, what, is it like a pressure point? And I was like, no, like you press your eyes and you get like the pretty pictures. And they were like, okay. And that was when I realised not everyone does that. Is it autism or am I weird? You know, it's one of them where like, even if it is just that it's not an autistic trait and I'm just weird, I'm trying to teach myself that there's nothing wrong with that and there's nothing wrong with me. Might just be really embarrassed and end up deleting this video, you never know, but that's that for now. If you have anything, like anything at all, where you're like, not quite sure if this is odd or if it's an autistic trait, please comment it down below. I think it's so interesting to see like how different and how similar we all are. And I think there's loads of autistic stuff that hasn't been picked up by doctors because they don't actually bother to like study adults anyway half the time, never mind adult women, never mind people from different backgrounds, you know, it's a whole thing. There's not enough research. So let's do our own by you letting me know, is it autism or am I just weird? And give me your own ones. Give me your comments, give me your opinions, give me your thoughts. If you haven't already done it, you could like and subscribe if you've liked the video and would like to subscribe to see more. I post twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. I forgot when I've been posting for like over a year now. But yeah, I've been doing it for a while. I'm going to keep doing it for the foreseeable. So if you'd like to subscribe and join in, it's quite a nice little community we've got going here now, actually. Like quite a few of the same people comment, and I feel like we've got a good like dialogue going. I feel like I'm getting to know you and you're getting to... It's a good time. Why not subscribe? But for now, whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, afternoon, day, week, month, year. And I'll see you again in a few days.